Edmund was a good man. He treated me like family long before he knew I was Dimitri's son.
I know what you're thinking. Families pull together in a time of crises, and... well, it's a really nice thought, Anton, but life doesn't always happen that way.
It can.
Not for people like us. Do you remember what happened when my grandmother died? Erica couldn't put aside our differences. We didn't bond over Mona's death. She humiliated me in front of half of Pine Valley. She threatened to kick me out if I didn't leave. I don't want to see that happen to you. Promise me, for your own sake, that you're not going to go to Wildwind.
I need time to think.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just worried about you, that's all.
Are you done? Can we talk about something else, maybe? Anything?
Don't open up old wounds, Anton. You haven't gotten over the fact that Dimitri disowned you, and you know it. But he made it perfectly clear he doesn't want you anywhere near Wildwind. So maybe you'd be doing what's best for him if you just respect his wishes.
Erica, would you open the doors? I want to catch Grace before she goes home, find out how Maria's doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to call me, Tom?
As much as I want to, as much as I love Anton, he wouldn't come.
Poor Dimitri. Except for Erica, he feels completely alone.
Yeah, he's hit hard.
Anton should be here. Dimitri needs him.
You say the word, I'll skip over to Pinecone and get him.
Doubt Anton will come back with you. You guys aren't exactly bosom buddies.
Got a better idea?
Maybe.
You're going after him.
I've been where you're at. When my Tony died, I went over every harsh word, every mistake I'd made with him, and one stands out above the others. When Tony was 3, he tried to pour milk on his cereal one morning, but his little hands weren't big enough to get a good grip on the bottle. And it fell, broke. Milk went everywhere. I yelled at that boy a good 10 minutes. And called him clumsy, stupid, wasteful, every mean thing I could think of. I'll never forget the hurt in his eyes. I forgot Tony ever spilled milk until the morning of his funeral. And then the whole little scene played back in my head as if it had just happened. After all that time, I finally realized that I wasn't angry at Tony for spilling milk. I was angry at myself. That milk and cold cereal was all I could give my boy. I felt I'd failed him. I had lashed out because I loved him so much, and I couldn't give him all the things he deserved.
Just like Edmund.
No, no. Honey, You can't live every day fearing that it's going to be the last.
No, I should have. I should have. Everyone should, but every day I hear it over and over again at the hospital. I always hear patients and their families wishing that they could go back and that they could change things before it's too late.
Honey, there was no way. You can't blame yourself for not knowing that Edmund's time had come.
I know, but I was so selfish, Grace. I mean, the one thing that he wanted to hear, I didn't tell him. And now I've lost my chance.
Take these.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You get some rest, all right?
Grace? Would you, stay with me until I fall asleep? Thank you.
Know him? I've never seen this man before in my life. Hi, I'm Janet Green.
Justin Kerr.
Liv.
You don't know him, then what are you doing here? Stalking me?
Oh, please, don't let us disturb you. I felt so terrible about that little tiff we had at Enchantment the other day. I was hoping we could have a nice, quiet talk and mend fences.
Like I'd trust you with a hammer and nails.
Why don't you believe I've changed, Haley? You've certainly changed. You're not the stinking drunk you were. No, you're a reformed alcoholic. You've got control over your life, just like I do.
No, see, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, Janet. The same goes for cold-blooded killers.
That's the thanks I get for doing you a favor.
I'm sorry, what?
Killing Will wasn't a good idea, but you must admit his early demise did prevent certain advances he was making on you that you didn't want. Most women would consider someone forcing themselves on them the way Will was forcing himself on you a fate worse than death.
So you think that bashing a man's head in is a way to make friends and influence people?
I saved you from getting raped by the creep that got you hooked on booze. See if I ever say to you again.
You know what, Janet? Don't do me any more favors. You just stay the hell away from me.
I saw Will at the cemetery tonight.
Dixie.
Ted, it's not what you think, okay? It's not like he was, you know, some ghost or anything. There weren't any chains rattling or dogs howling or... He wasn't a see-through apparition. He was real. I mean, he was there in the flesh talking to me.
He spoke.
Come on, Ted, this is not the first time.
Yeah,
you
I know,
You
but that
remember
was
I
then.
told
Your
you about Will
therapist
before.
said that that was your way of dealing with the stress of his death. That was years ago.
Well, maybe it's just the same thing.
Well, I think that you, I think you should talk to another therapist just to make sure.
Yeah, maybe not.
Come on, honey. Look, we've been through this before, okay? You agreed that seeing Janet back in Pine Valley stirred up some very painful memories. Maybe this whole victims' rights thing has tapped into something a little deeper.
I'm with Ted.
I'm telling you, I think you should see a therapist and maybe give up this crusade.
That's what Will said.
No, honey, that's what your conscience is telling you. And I'm begging you to listen. Forget about Janet. Focus on your life, on our life together. Dell, the kids, school, anything. Just let Janet go. Let your brother rest in peace. Please.
Alive and kicking.
Oh, my God. Oh, baby. How did you get here?
I didn't take my car, that's for sure.
I don't understand. The explosion and
It
Derek
was just
said...
all a mistake. It was just a trick to catch Galloway. I'm sorry I had to put you through this.
So good. Oh, when I thought that I lost you, all I could think about was how we left things and how I didn't tell you that I loved you. And I just want you to know how much, baby, how much I love you. Oh, I will always love you.
Are you sure you don't want me to call Anton?
If I thought there was the slightest chance,
All right, come on, let's go to bed. Let's try to get some sleep.
Why don't you come to bed and maybe get some rest? You know how Grimley hates it when you're late. That's another hooker on the prowl, I swear.
Hi. I know it's late and I'm sorry to bother you, but...
Edmund's dead. I know.
Well, Dimitri's beside himself. Erica's there, but it's not enough. He needs you, Anton, won't you? Please come home to Wildwind.
Will Joey accept Jean's carefully orchestrated ruse about Dorian's flight to Europe? Find out on One Life to Live next.